'Twas the week before Christmas, and all through the House, some Republican lawmakers were stirring as if they'd seen a mouse.
On January 6, 2021, Vice President Mike Pence, as President of the Senate, should call out all electoral votes that he believes are unconstitutional as no electoral votes at all.
Over on Fox in primetime, there was such a scare as some of the texts were coming from there.
Well, what I am going to address a little later on in my show is what this really is all about. I mean, what's really going on with Liz Cheney and the media, the diminutive media?
I want her text messages. Liz, release yours.
But the next night, the anchors behaved as if they felt no dread.
I don't think Liz Cheney likes us. I'm very...
I don't think she likes us either.
I don't think she likes us, Hannity. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why.
As they hoped their own viewers would not remember what their texts said.
Mark, the president needs to tell people in the Capitol to go home. This is hurting all of us. He is destroying his legacy, Laura Ingraham wrote. Please get him on TV. Destroying everything you have accomplished, Brian Kilmeade texted. Quote, can he make a statement? Ask people to leave the Capitol, Sean Hannity urged.
Now, don't worry, I'm not doing an entire rendition of that holiday classic, but the move by the January 6th committee to release text messages from some GOP members of Congress and some Fox News personalities that were sent to former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows around and during the January 6th insurrection has exposed what may have been a broad effort to overturn the 2020 election and then deceive the public about that. And we need to talk about that as a country, in every home, yes, even during the holidays. We still don't know everything about what some of these GOP lawmakers were doing in the run-up to January 6th. The plotting appeared to begin the day after the election. CNN has learned lawmakers believe then Energy Secretary Rick Perry texted Meadows, here's an aggressive strategy. Here it is on screen. Why can't the states of Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and other R-controlled state houses declare this is BS, where conflicts and election not called that night, and just send their own electors to vote and have it go to the Supreme Court? There were other ideas. We reported during that same month that Trump was having discussions about whether electors could go rogue at the state level. And even before she was a member of Congress, Marjorie Taylor Greene said last December that she was at a planning session at the White House.
Just finished with our meetings here at the White House this afternoon. We had a great planning session for our January 6th objection. We aren't going to let this election be stolen by Joe Biden and the Democrats. President Trump won by a landslide.
A meeting at the White House. What was that all about? And of course, Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan has already admitted he forwarded a text message to Mark Meadows on January 5th suggesting that the vice president could set aside electors he deemed illegitimate. You may recall Jordan has tap danced around the question of whether he spoke to Trump on January 6th. Watch.
On January 6th, did you speak with him before, during, or after the Capitol was attacked?
I'd have to go. I spoke with him that day after. I think after. I don't know if I spoke with him in the morning or not. I just don't know. I'd have to go back and. I mean, I don't know that when those conversations happened. But what I know is I spoke with him all the time.
He seems nervous. But what's even more disgusting is that Fox News hosts Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, they've been caught red-handed, acting like North Korean state television, lying to their viewers about what happened that day, covering up the misdeeds of a wannabe dictator, blaming Antifa sympathizers for January 6th, and downplaying the violence in the days that follow. Guys, you've been busted on your bullshit, on your betrayal.
An overwhelming majority of them, more than 99% had to be, were peaceful, but because of a small contingent of loons, these patriots have been unfairly maligned.
Donald Trump was not saying go take the Capitol. He was going to go protest at the Capitol. He wasn't saying take the bike racks and throw them.
Trump supporters everywhere are now getting blamed for what happened at the Capitol. Vast majority of people that protested did so peacefully.
All lies. And that's not to mention Tucker Carlson's false flag documentary. Don't get me started on that one. But in a rare peek behind the Murdoch curtain, Fox's Geraldo Rivera pleaded with Sean Hannity this past week to come back to the real world.
I beg you, Sean, to remember the frame of mind you were in when you wrote that text on January 6th, and when Laura did, and when Brian did, and when Don Jr. did. Remember the concern you had. Remember the frustration you had at our beloved 45th president.
Yeah, beloved? I don't know about that one, but Geraldo sounds like he's speaking in code, using the cult-like language often heard in Trump world. It's the language Hannity understands. Makes a lot of sense considering what we're seeing around the holidays with all the Trump wrapping paper and talk of how the disgraced ex-president saved Christmas.
When you came into office, America had gone through a long period where people quit saying Merry Christmas. It was all happy holidays. You deliberately changed that.
This was in 2015. When I started campaigning, I said, you're going to say Merry Christmas again, and now people are saying it.
Ah, yes, it's Santa Trump now. Sort of how the old story goes. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry, his droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow. And we started saying Merry Christmas again because Donald Trump said so. Come on, it was either this or Rudy the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But I digress. All of this talk of the holidays has given me an idea, though, how we can break through all of the noise on the far right. Perhaps you know somebody in your family, somebody in your neighborhood who needs a little more than Christmas cheer. They need the truth, gift-wrapped, just for them. Consider putting together a little folder of articles. Here's mine. I've got an Associated Press story in here reporting that they found fewer than 475 cases of voter fraud in the battleground states that helped decide the 2020 election. Plenty of other great CNN articles in here as well. If you have them, if you have kids, you can have them decorate the folder. On the cover of mine, I have the Fox News Christmas tree. There it is, along with some photos of Sean, Laura, and Brian. And don't forget Tiny Tucker. He's right there. And God bless us, everyone, including Vladimir Putin. So when your relatives start going on about how the election was stolen, just calmly hand them this Yuletide folder. Feel free to personalize it with how you celebrate this time of year. And in the meantime, send me some of your photos of your folders. So if you make one like this, tweet a picture at me and we'll feature them on the show. Now, why go through all of that effort, you ask? I mean, I think the handmade gifts are always the best this time of year. That's what I tell my kids. But think about this. It's the holidays. Perhaps you've heard something about peace on earth, goodwill to all. It's worth a shot. And with that, a Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.